All right, we are joined in studio very happily by, we're not just a footy podcast here, Dan. And I think we've identified that with Andrew Bogut, with Peter Bowl, with Tommy Morris.
Josh Garlop for some reason was here.
Wait, who are Sir Swamp Thing?
Yep.
Greg Hire.
Yep,
Greg Hire.
Yep.
Well, we've just moved on over to Rugby Union now. Kyle Godwin joins us in studio, vice captain of the Western Force. Just played his 100th Super Rugby game last weekend. Rookie of the year back in the day. He's played for the Wallabies. Not sure we're getting a bigger name here in Perth in the studio, and he joins us now. G'day, mate.
Thank you very much, boys. You're too kind.
How are you? Are you this surrounding?
Mate, I love the shrine. I love the shrine.
Yeah. We really
Fully
need
immersed.
we need some force
Bit of
gear.
contrast. Yeah, there's far more Eagles going on here, but I like it. You know, obviously Willie's the Eagles man himself. So,
Yes, great.
yeah.
So the first question we ask all of our guests, right? I was going to give you some
questions.
I was going to give you some warning because I just you know,
He's not, look, he's bigger than both of us
Yeah, fair
combined,
enough.
so he doesn't need to.
We know you're a big rugby union lad. We know you're a big strapping man. You know what you've done on the field. You played over 100 Super Rugby games now. You've played for your country. We're here to tell you we don't care what you've done on the rugby field.
Perfect. That is.
We want to know. We want to know what is your greatest sporting achievement, not on the rugby field. You need to give us your best sporting moment. I mean, I feel like we need to give him some examples.
Yeah. So why don't we start with you?
Okay. Well, I've got numerous.
Just give us the one that you...
Under 9 80-metre hurdle state champion.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's goody.
Tom Hawkins plays AFL. He was year 12 high jump champion. Hayden Ballantyne plays for Fremantle, was a javelin thrower. I mean, they're all athletics. Andrew Bogut beat Phil Helmuth in a game of poker before. So you can go and you can take it wherever you like to go.
We
But
can
it
go
can't be
even as
rugby.
far as Callum Sinclair last week told us he was the lead at his like year 12 play. Like he got picked as the lead.
Oh, yeah,
So
I love that.
you know,
I love that.
And Dan, what's yours? I mean,
I've many things, played so many sports, excelled at all of them. But I got 5 wickets for 16 runs in a final in cricket.
that's
when I was
in the grand final, right?
That's actually the ball right there
wow,
with
there
the
we go.
trophy. So I mean, happy.
Surprised you didn't mention that.
That's hard to beat, to be honest.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Look, to be honest, I've been scrolling through my brain, obviously. Rugby player, concussions, all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's a bit harder. But I do remember when I was about 11 or 12 and I was going through a skateboarding phase. Right? So I think my friend and I, Luke Ranzik, a mate of mine, he was big into skateboarding, right? And I was the tag along. I mean, I never got past the ollie. I was kickflip maybe once or twice out of flute. And we entered into a local skate park competition. And long story short, I think I came 3rd out of 4 people, so that was the biggest achievement of my life. I
Really?
didn't come
Top
last.
3.
So there we go. Yeah, I was top 3. Yeah,
That is big.
I made podium. I made podium. So it was the Melville skate park. I do remember it. And I think, what do you do when you drop in and stuff?
Yeah.
I got through that, did a little spin or whatever, and landed in a kickflip or something.
Who's been on here that was Sharad Wellingham?
Is he
Sharad Wellingham, he bought some skate stuff. I mean, you were talking with him as if you knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, I used to do stairs and stuff like that. Yeah, 5 grinds and stuff like that.
Trinity boy, so he was skateboarding after school. In
Yeah,
the park,
correct.
yeah.
So you know your private schools here in Perth.
I've got to just ask quickly.
Yeah.
You were top 3 and you never really skated before. What was the 4th guy doing?
Mate, he was participation as well. Him and I were a close 3rd or 4th, So
that is good. So, so Sharad Wellingham's at Trinity, correct? You're an Aquinas boy.
Aquinas boy,
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's that? I guess before we get there, you were born in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, born in Zim.
You came over here as an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Moved over here in 2000.
Yes, correct.
So, what's that adaptation like for a kid? You're 8 years old. Like, what's that like?
Yeah, it was a big shock, right? So when we first moved, we obviously moved in 2000 when things were a bit tough in Zimbabwe. I don't know if you know then. So that was there was a lot of land acquisition from the government and everything, taking back land. So the old boy thought it was a good time to move across. It's funny, when we moved across, I think the exchange rate to the US dollar was about 50 to 1, right? And within 2 years of us moving, it shot to about 1 billion to 1. So literally money became worthless overnight like that. So it was pretty wise of my old boy to get out. But
wow.
Yeah. Look, to be honest, the first memory I have is we signed up at a little local school in the hills called Marymount. And so in Zim, it's pretty strict, right? When you walk past a lady or a teacher or sir, good morning, sir, good morning, ma'am. And I walked into the classroom and there were kids just running berserk. I was like, what the hell have I got myself into, you know? So, kids were doing everything they wanted, you know, back-chatting the teachers. I was like in for a bit of a rude shock, but, you know, absolutely. I'm fully blown Australian now, and ever since then I've been back-checking teachers as well. So.
Did you, are we good? Are we good? We'll just double check. Yeah, all good guys? Okay, good. What about, okay, so you move over here.
Yeah.
There's big footy, big cricket. There's not a huge rugby union family or, I guess, process here. How did you find, you clearly played that growing up. How did you do the sort of...
Yeah, well, to be honest, I had a very strict Zimbabwean father, and rugby was the only way. It was his way or the highway, and I played rugby, and that was about it. So... yeah, for me, a lot of my mates played all like AFL and all that kind of stuff, but I never really got to it. I was just rugby through and through. You know, I signed up to local clubs and played for Aquinas as well, and it was only rugby, to be honest. And obviously, I played other sports in summer and everything. But
is that like, I mean, like I've been from a footy background for my whole life. You've heard Downey's cricket and footy, bit of basketball,
soccer, basketball,
surfing.
But like, what's the what's the scene here in Perth? Like in private school, what's the competition like? Do all schools play rugby union?
Well, like there's
you're gonna have to give us a full education here on rugby union. So we'll do that.
So it's funny you say that, right? So Perth, out of all the states, or Western Australia, is the third biggest rugby state in Australia. Wow. So it's hard to believe, you know, a lot
Queensland,
of people...
New South Wales.
Yeah, and then we're the third biggest state in terms of participation. So, like either you play it through your private school, like Aquinas or whatever, or you go and join a club. The standard at school is probably nowhere near it was what you'd get on like your first 15 East Coast teams. Yeah. So what you get, you get a lot of your Wesley boys, your Trinity boys, or playing AFL one day. You get a lot of those on the private schools over east. And rugby union's unfortunately going that way. It's still notoriously a bit of a private boys' school kind of game. Whereas you get your leagueies there, not as, you know.
Well, it's funny you say that because Dan was saying before you came in, it's like union and league. I mean, like, what's the difference? And I know that's going to hurt you a lot.
No.
But tell us and listeners, union and league. Like, what are the big differences? You're a union boy, so you're going to say league's a piece of shit. That's the first difference.
No. Look, it's funny you say that. A lot of the boys love watching league.
Right.
You know, it's probably a far easier game. The union's so complicated. Even when we play the game, we have a penalty against us. We're still like, what the hell's going on there?
Really?
Yeah.
That's like the AFL.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the big difference really is I think the media managers in league teams have a far harder day than the media managers in the union teams. I think
why? Because of the players or because of the attitude?
I think the players. You know, I think the union boys are a bit more straighty 180 than the league boys. But I know they're good fun. You know. The difference in terms of rugby, it's like we've got 15 on a side, they got 13. They have sets, so they have 5 opportunities to play, and then they have to kick the ball around.
You're unlimited.
Yeah, we're unlimited. And we push in a scrum and lift in lineouts, and so the purists absolutely love union.
They have scrums in league, don't they?
Yeah, they have attempted scrums. Yeah,
they sound like
this.
Yeah.
Is it easy to players like interchange between the two? Is that an easy move?
And do players do that?
A lot of players do. I mean, some of the most successful union players have also jumped across from league. You look at Sonny Bill Williams; he's the big dog of both codes. You know, to be honest, like some players struggle, but some players really thrive and succeed on both sides of the field. You know.
Is it more like position based? Like, are there certain players like, you know, wings and stuff like that your game can translate?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so. You find a lot of the league boys that do transition, though, you find them in the back row or out the back with the backs or the pretty boys, but they're usually your tough runners or the speed on the wing, as you say.
That's what I was going to ask next was positionally, right? So in the AFL, the midfield, so basically my saying goes, and a saying goes, but I'm claiming it as mine, the forwards, they sign memberships, right? Yeah. You know, people come to watch them kick goals.
Yeah, your buddy Franklin's 1,000 goals kind of thing.
The midfield, they sign sponsorships. Right, so they got the big money, they got the big deals, but then the backs, they win the premierships. Yeah. Like the back line is the guys that hold the team together. They save the day. They actually are a team within a team. All the pretty boys are up the field. What's that like in rugby union? Like, what's the setup?
It's the same, but the role reversal, right? Okay. So the forwards are your grunt work. They're your engine room. They're just the guys that are hitting up. Yeah, they're hitting up. They're not doing any of the pretty work. Yes. Their work is all dirty. They're getting cauliflower ears. They're getting cut up in their face. You know, it's surprising. I'm a back, right? I'm meant to look pretty, but I've got a couple of cauliflower ears myself. But,
right.
the back line are meant to be your notorious pretty boys, and as you get further and further out the back line, they get prettier and prettier, and softer and softer.
From the middle of the field, so you got like the big guys right in the middle, and then as you get wider and wider,
you're meant to get quicker and more flashy with your boots, so you can wear pink boots on the wing.
Has any centres or forwards been rolling around in pink boots?
Yeah, well, I'm a centre, but I wouldn't go pink boots. I'm a white boot kind of guy. That's me through and through. I've always been a white boot guy.
Who's wearing the black boots?
The black boots. They're your grunt boys and the forwards, and your old boys like Richie Kahui. He's an absolute weapon, absolute machine. Ex All Black. He's still 36 and he's still like destroying everyone on the field, and he still wears the old Adidas 1980 Predators or whatever they were, and they're black.
And he literally bought them in 1980 as well.
He hasn't changed them since.
Oh, that's unreal. Okay, what about if we're talking about Union v, that's a bit Union v League, but like Union v the AFL, like what's the highest paid player in what's the league? What's the league called now?
Super Rugby.
Super Rugby.
Yeah.
What's the highest paid player in the whole league getting paid right now?
Well, in Australia, probably like our captain, Michael Hooper.
Yeah,
the Australian captain.
Here we go, a bit of insight.
Yeah, he would be. I think anything north of $1
ballpark,
million.
right?
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
I'd say definitely north of $1 million.
Yeah.
But yeah, for us, we're lucky in terms of like rugby's a global game, so you find a lot of boys who go over there who haven't played a lot of Super Rugby experience, and you can go to Japan, and you can get paid a bucket load, or France and get paid a bucket load as well.
It's not like cricket where they play in like 7 different leagues in a year though, right? Like you're
No,
playing one league a year.
You play one league or you play for your country. So you have your domestic season, which is with your club, and then after that you move into playing, if you're lucky enough to be selected to play for your country.
And national selection and national squad are on a different wage to say club footy.
All the boys would, if they're in the Wallabies, would get paid by their club throughout the year. But if they're lucky enough, some of them would get a top up from Australian Rugby Union.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of trying to gauge league size. So for instance, the AFL, there'd be probably there might be close to 10 guys on $1 million a year. Yeah. Probably less so. No more than 10. There'd be like five maybe. Yeah. And then you've probably got a band of, another 20 to 30 guys between 700 and $1 million.
Yeah. And
then you got your good players. If you're a good kind of every week player, you're never going to be a superstar though. You're probably on like 500. He's like a good mainstay player, and then down from there to like rookies. First into the game are probably on like 60 to 80,000 on match payments, and then everywhere in between from that. Like, is it a similar profile?
Yeah, but why? Like in terms of numbers, way off. Like for instance, we would have only maybe 1 or 2 guys on $1 million over in Australia. I'm just guessing.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then the rest of them would sit around, like if you're playing your regular Wallabies, maybe around 500, 600K.
Yeah.
And then it just falls even further if
Yeah.
If you're, I'm guessing, I'd say maybe 200,000 if you're a standard Wallaby, standard Super Rugby player every week. Yeah.
So back on your sort of journey, like your pathway is Zimbabwe. You get here as an 8-year-old, you go through the system, you play for Aquinas. Yeah. You are captain of the Aussie schoolboys.
Captain. I wasn't the captain, unfortunately. Yeah,
but you played in what? Like
I played in a couple of schoolboys.
Yeah,
we were lucky. So every 4 years they do a United Spring Tour. It's called the Spring Tour every 4 years, and luckily on my year I got selected to go on that one. We went. I was 17 at the time, and I was using one of the boys from Melbourne's fake ID for about 4 weeks, living the life. Like it was the best time I've ever had off field ever, and I want to go back to those clubs. I can't remember where they were. And talk to all sorts of people that I hung out with. Didn't want to say hook up there. But that was one of the best experiences of my life.
One of them wasn't Revolver, was it?
Revolver, I've heard of that. No, but no, it wasn't.
No, correct. Okay, so like that's the pathway, right? You play schoolboy rugby, you get some rep sides, and then you move your way into Western Force. Right?
Yes, yeah.
So when did you debut for Western Force?
I was 19, and so I debuted for the Western Forces 2012. Yeah,
in 2012.
Yeah.
And so that year, you win Rookie of the Year.
The following year,
Rookie
of the Year.
Yeah. So how does that work? Are you sort of like I know in basketball they have like a development player, so you're on the list, but you're not technically a rookie.
Yeah. So for my first 2 years out of school, I was on effectively like a development contract.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And what's the squad like for like the Western Force? Is there's 13 guys on the field.
Yeah, 15 for
15
us,
on the field. is there a 30-man squad?
Yeah, we usually have about a 30-man squad, and then you have 5 rookies as well on top of that. Yeah, so about 35 players, and then obviously you got your academy, and then your academy boys will fill in and out depending on injuries or if they're going well anyway, they might be brought up into the squad kind of thing. Whereas it's way bigger in AFL, isn't it? It's like 50 or 60 on the list, isn't it?
Yeah, there's 45 on the list, but they're like trying to pull that back now, but then COVID's kind of thrown a whole bunch of stuff apart.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like, for instance, West Coast, they had 5 guys playing from, like, the state league in the real stuff, like 3 weeks ago, because COVID kind of decimated them over here in Perth.
Yeah, one of the old Aquinas boy, Angus Litherland, he got on, so yeah.
He got Aquinas, Angus
He's
Litherland.
an Aquinas boy in my year as well, yeah.
So he played for Hawthorn, Angus Litherland.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And then came back here. He's been playing for Subi.
Yeah.
And then he looked at home playing for West Coast a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's good. Again, like, excuse my ignorance in terms of AFL, but I didn't watch the game, but I heard.
We will match your ignorance with our own ignorance.
Perfect. Lovely.
So how does that work? Like, you're in Perth. Like, it's a footy town. Like, you can say that Union's the biggest, third biggest in Australia, but you're not a footy fan at all. You said before you've been to...
Oh, no, I love the game. I appreciate the game. I think
you don't have to be.
Yeah, no, but like... Yeah, no, I wouldn't say I would go to an Eagles game every week.
Have you been to one?
I haven't actually.
Never been to an Eagles game?
I lie. No, I actually haven't. I've been to one Freo game in about year 4.
Really?
Yeah, I got invited to a year 4 birthday party, and that's where I went.
That's a sick birthday party. Going to a game?
We went to Freo, yeah.
So you never played it. Like, I'm just looking at the physique. I just think you'd be a good AFL player.
What position would you chuck him in?
I mean, like, how tall are you? 190?
188.
Yeah.
188.
So like, you'd be fucking damaging some fucking players if you played him in a forward pocket, like back pocket.
Back pocket.
Yeah,
perfect. Sounds good.
With the squad, you're saying there's about 30 guys. So I understand in Union there's like set positions. So in AFL, obviously you got like 6 backmen, you got 6 guys in the middle. So there's much less, obviously. Is that super competitive for that spot because there's such fewer opportunities to play? Or can your position, like, are you pretty, like, are there certain guys that could play 1 through 15? Not through 15.
I know exactly what you mean. So, yeah, some guys are very position specific. Like, for instance, I would never be able to play in the front row. I'm not 140 kgs and I'm not strong enough to be pushing with that pressure kind of thing. So that's suited to those kind of players. And then your second rows are your big, tall locks, so they jump in the lineup. So I would never play that as well. So, and you need a bit of grunt as well. It's something that us backs lack, But in terms of backs, you can get guys that kind of can play multi positions. So your centres can maybe get on the wing, and your wingers can come to the centres.
Yeah.
But then, like, for instance, your number 9 and 10 is very position specific. They're your generals. They're you guys who kind of dictate the game, kick the ball in positions, and so that they need a pretty specific skill set to play that. Someone like myself thinks I'm a bloody 10 as well, so sometimes I like to fill myself in, but I learn out pretty quickly that I'm not designed to be a number 10.
It looks like a sport that is physically tolling on the body. Like, I asked how you pulled up from the weekend. Like, when I watch Union, I just think these guys you must spend 5 days in an ice bin to get up the next week. Like, does your body become conditioned?
Definitely.
To the hits.
Big time.
A lot bigger hits than any other sport, really.
To be honest, you get conditioned to it. To be honest, your first couple of games at the start of the year, or your first preseason matches, the next few days you're pretty sore. Yeah. But yeah, your body conditions to it. It's a beautiful thing. It's like the AFL boys. They just get used to running big loads of 15 Ks a week or whatever this midfielders are doing.
Yeah. Does that scare you, going out and running 15, 16 Ks?
To be honest, like the max Union boy would maybe get is your backs or your wingers, and they would get up to maybe 8 Ks a game. Whereas, so you guys are running over double.
So like, I look at Union, I'm like, I would not last two. What are they called? Like two. I wouldn't last 2
hit
hits.
ups.
No, 2 hit ups. Like, I'm the first receiver, I'm running into another bloke. Yeah. If I don't get snapped in half on the first hit up, the second one I'm getting snapped in half.
Yeah. You're pulling a hammy.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like shoulder. Yeah, like not quite feeling it today.
The thing that we don't get in rugby as much, but you guys get, everyone can get bumped or hit from any angle. If in AFL, so that you can get some big hits in your guys' game as well. Yeah, you know what I mean. So
it's not a 360 game.
Exactly.
Rugby,
yeah.
right?
So you got to have that kind of peripheral. I'm sure everyone adapts to it and has a skill set for it. But you can get hit from any angle, which is like, I would say you get some nasty knocks in AFL.
Well, I was going to say, is concussion a big deal in union? Because it's really just starting to become a really big deal in the AFL, especially because some recent cases of guys
Brad
games.
and all that.
Yeah.
It's big. Yeah, and I think they manage it really well in union. I think it's something that was probably looked on as a bit light on, and it's like, oh mate, toughen up, get on with it. But I think they're making some good steps, and I kind of tend to agree with the protocols and situations that they put in place for it.
You mentioned cauliflower ears before. Are you strapped up? Do you strap
I'm
up?
not doing the honey badger. I don't have the curls, and I'm not strapping up.
Because that's what that's for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Strapping the head is to make sure your ears don't get ripped off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what the boys are doing for that. But it's funny, this story. So I had this cauliflower ear, and it was like literally, I was like 2014, 2015. And it literally, every time I'd hit it would just keep swelling up, and I'd get it drained. I had it drained about, I'd say, on 15 times by the doc, and it was just getting annoying. And then after one game, I was lucky. I was just sitting there on the sideline, and this half-drunk plastic surgeon rocks up to me, and he's like, mate, your ear looks shocking. I'll sort it out in the back sheds. So literally, he grabbed me, tapped me on the shoulder. The force doctor is like, mate, he's a good boy. He'll get it sorted for you. Grabbed me, cut some holes in my ear, stitched me up, bit of local, and my ears, this is looking pretty. This is looking real pretty. You should have seen it before this. But I was like...
Is this guy carrying a fucking scalpel to the game or something? Like, he's like tapping you on the shoulder, like...
And some
with
local,
a scalpel,
and some local
while he's localing, he's on the 4X as well. No, that bit's made up.
Is it painful?
Most painful thing, underrated pain. I honestly reckon this is a psoas injury, but I mean, I could be.
What does it feel like? What does it feel like?
It's just painful. Heart to heart. Yeah.
Full.
Yeah. It's just pressure. Yeah, pressure and sore. Yeah.
I think I can relate. I remember having a piercing up the top, and it got infected once. That was pretty painful.
You had a what? A piercing up the top.
But you can still see the you can still see the. Speaking
of,
did
you have like a nice swoosh?
No, it was a Diamante. Do you remember when you first got into so when you first started playing with Force, your first time playing professional? Is there big hits that you remember that was like a welcome to the league sort of?
There was a couple of times. A couple of times I got bumped by. There's this one good player from the Crusaders. Obviously, again, you guys probably wouldn't know, but Crusaders is notoriously.
Yeah, I know of the Crusaders.
Where do they?
Best
what country are they from?
New Zealand.
No,
I was going to say.
That would have been an interesting answer, to be honest. I would like to see that.
Are they the guys kind of with the culture? Like,
they're the most successful Super Rugby side in the history of the competition. And Big Robbie Fruin, who is a massive centre, went to go in and tackle him, and it was a real welcome to professional league, mate. This is what you got to do. You got to be dealing with every week. But no, when I first signed up, and I'm sure it's the same with you, Willie, is either they kind of step up in intensity and pace, and it's just a bit quicker, a bit more intense, and yeah. But I definitely had a few welcome hits.
Do they? So if someone does something silly in the AFL, Monday there's the normal review, but then there's a few clips that get shown. Like, look at this here. So, like, say you get run over, is that a?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we had one game last year where all we needed to do was kick the ball out to win it, and
oh no,
one of the boys went to go and so we'd just been defending for about 5 minutes against the Rebels, and Jack McGregor went to go and kick the ball out, mishit it, it just bounced out, and they got the ball back and went on to
They didn't score.
No, but we literally played it about 20 times in the replay. As soon as he kicked it, his face was like this, and literally white as a ghost. I've never seen a man so white in all my life, because he knew he'd royally stuffed the game up. But lucky we went on to win it anyway. But that was played a number of times in the review. I've
got to ask about the kicking, because every time I get a football in my hands, I just want to kick it. Like, so, and I understand in like, there's just something ingrained in people. I reckon you want to kick the ball. I understand in union, not everyone's allowed to kick the ball or not meant to. Yeah. Do guys get itchy feet? Are there like times?
We have a few, like I say, forwards who think they can kick or two. Yeah, no. They're only reserved to kick after training. That's it. That's their only time to shine.
I love that the backs and the forwards are opposite in the AFL. Like, I'm going to keep, like, when I hear forward, I'm thinking of like... Yeah. Like Tom Barras, like, you're not allowed to kick out, man. You're not kicking out. You see the ball, you just put it down. Whereas like the forwards, like, do not kick the ball, boys. Like, you just get out of the way.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you kick the ball, right?
I attempt to kick the ball. That's the thing. I should have gone and played AFL when I was growing up, and I might be a bit of a better kick, to be honest. But like my position, allows me to kick from time to time. But like I said, your 9 and your 10 are your big kickers.
Yeah.
It sounds like Kyle's a bit of a jack of all trades. Like I think the boys,
Master of
the
none.
boys will be
Master of
like,
none is the underlying
you
statement
can
there.
kick it, Kyle.
Yeah.
But like maybe just
Exactly,
get the actual kickers to do it, mate.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
okay, if you have to, please go for it.
That's me.
I watched the highlight earlier, and you kicked it. I'm not even going to attempt to say the guy's name, but you kicked it forward. It was like this perfect. It bounced perfectly. Picked it up, scored a try. It was like and I was like, oh, decent kick.
Yeah.
You know the one. You've watched the highlight.
The fluke. That was a fluke, to be honest. I don't know which one you're talking about, but it sounds like a fluke to me, to be honest.
Can you give us a bit of a rundown on what's happened in the actual leagues around Australia for Union? Like
For Union?
Yeah, because like as far as my knowledge goes, which again, you got to mind my ignorance, but it felt like not too long ago, Western Force were getting kicked out of or left out of a new alignment of teams, and then this new league kind of started up.
Yeah.
And there was like private ownership, and now it's kind of back to has there been some toing and froing in Australian and New Zealand, like the world,
Yeah, so effectively what happened...
You know what I'm asking
Yeah,
about,
I know exactly what you're asking. So in 2017, the Western Force got kicked out of Super Rugby. And at that time, Super Rugby was Australian teams, 5 Australian teams, 5 New Zealand teams, and 5 South African teams.
Yeah.
So Australia obviously felt like they didn't have the finance and also the quality of player to...
find the depth.
Yeah, the depth of talent to fill 5 teams. So they got rid of the Force, which was angered a lot of people in the Perth rugby community, and rightfully so, to be honest.
Because there's a lot of fans here, right?
Yeah. We have the Sea of Blue, mate. Most loyal fans, I can assure you that.
Blue.
Yeah, there we go.
Love that.
Yeah. So then they got kicked out, and effectively Twiggy came in, and a lot of other West Australian families came into, Johnny Edwards as well, another mention for him. Families like that came in and tried to prop up and save the Force, and thankfully Twiggy was able to buy it, and effectively he wanted to create his own competition, and he did that, and he got that, and that was going to go underway in 2020, and then obviously the world got hit with a pandemic called COVID, and and
so that league flopped, not flop, but didn't go ahead.
It didn't go ahead, and that year Australia couldn't play New Zealand, couldn't play South Africa, so they got Western Force got reintroduced into the Super Rugby Australia, so we started again playing back in with it.
So COVID actually reignited Western Force.
Exactly.
Wow, holy shit.
Yeah. And now we've been back in. So South Africa's moved across. They're playing up in Europe now, so they're playing in a European competition because of the time zone and everything that. But we've got a Super Rugby now is between Australia and New Zealand.
How many teams are there now?
10. No, 12. 12. We've got 2 new
Pacific
Islander team, and then the Fijian team.
Huh.
Yeah.
So what happened to the boys that were on the list at 2017? They got a call, sorry, you're going to have to find somewhere else to go.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So, for some boys, luckily, say they were halfway through their contract, their contracts were going to be upheld or...
Yeah.
So they were sweet, and most of them were moved to other Super Rugby sides on the East Coast. But for some boys, it was the beginning of the end of their careers, or some of them stayed, and then they eventually played for the Western Force side that Twiggy created. It was a pretty sad time. I had a lot of mates in that. I moved to the Brumbies before this all happened, but a lot of real close friends that I grew up playing with. It was a tough time for them.
So we're jumping all over the place, but back sort of on your things, you moved from Zimbabwe, you play for Aquinas, you move into the kind of junior ranks of rugby.
Yeah.
You play under 20 Australian footy, representative footy,
correct,
the junior Australian side.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
What's that process like? They picking the best under 20s across the country?
Yeah, effectively, yeah. You go to a few camps at the old AIS in Canberra. I don't know if you guys have ever been there.
Yeah, I've been there once.
Invited a few times, I never went.
The old one, it was dorm,
it's dorm living. I mean, the food's good.
Yeah.
The food's good, but it's freezing.
Yeah, and the accommodation is I don't know, this is a nice bed.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
a real nice bed.
So you spend a couple of camps there, and then you get selected. And we played in South Africa, and unfortunately, my year, and I was probably one to blame as well for that, was the worst Australian rugby did in the World Rugby World Cup.
Wow.
So that's my claim to fame. Yeah, exactly. And I'll put my hand up for that one.
So you're playing for Western Force at that time as well?
Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah.
Playing for Western Force at that time, you get picked for the Wallabies. You debut for the Wallabies.
Yeah, no. So
2016.
Yeah, 2016. Yeah, so I was in and out of the squad for a couple of years, and I was a hit shield holder, effectively. I don't know what you guys would call it in AFL, where you kind of we call it bin juice as well sometimes.
Tell me exactly
I don't know
what
what
both
that
of
is.
those things mean.
Okay, so bin juice is big in rugby union, right? So bin juice effectively means you're a squad player, but you know when you have like the bin, you have the rubbish, right? But then you have the bin juice at the bottom.
The dregs.
Like the dregs. Like you're the dregs. So I was the dregs, So,
I mean, if you're going to be the dregs, at least you're the dregs of the Australian team.
Yeah. So I was the bin juice holder or the hit shield holder, which was great when you go on tour to Europe, and you're not playing. You get Friday night double D nights, which is always good fun.
What is double D nights, man?
Double D, you're dirty. So you're not playing squad. So every Friday night you make sure that you go out and have a good time with the boys.
I love
and you
that.
make sure you front up for Saturday training before the test match that your coach has pretty loose nights.
Yeah, so if you go out, right, this is the thing in the AFL as well. Don't call it double Ds, but like pretty much we're not going out before games or anything, but like you are in the squad, so you're kind of not either. Yeah. But if you go out, you can't miss the next day of training.
No.
Like if you rock up, like if you go out, you got to rock up. It doesn't matter what state you're in.
Yeah, exactly.
No calling up, I feel sick or...
No, you can't get away with that.
You rock up.
Yeah.
I'm glad that is cross code.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you front up.
Double dirties.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, we had some good ones like in France. We went to the old Can. What's the...
Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, so that was one of the nights.
The girls...
Booked a table, everything. That was a good night, that one.
A bunch of rugby union lads all sitting in Moulin Rouge. You ever been there?
No.
Did you dress up or were you just in...
I mean, like, I was 22 at the time. I thought my fashion was pretty cool. It was probably atrocious, but it still is. I'm wearing short shorts and
pointy shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Double polo, I'm thinking.
Exactly. Yeah, double polo. Tossalade. Thinking I'm killing it.
That's great. So, so you spent time with it in the squad, right?
Yeah. And then,
as bin juice.
As bin juice, big time.
Sounds like a beautiful place to be, to be really honest.
Yeah, go to France, go out.
And then, in my second spring tour, I was lucky enough to get a test match against the French at Stade Francais, which was like a screaming 85,000 stadium, which was a pretty cool experience. And, we got the win as well. So I'm 1 from 1 in terms of win ratio, so I'm happy with that.
No Godwin, no Wallabies. I've heard them say that.
Well, the cricket's got the baggy green. What do the Wallabies have?
You get your test cap as well.
They could have a name for it.
It's not.
I saw a picture of you like getting your hat, and I was like, that looks like a baggy green.
Yeah, it's pretty much a baggy green, but we can't take that away from the cricket.
Is there anything kind of like, I don't know, number day, but like
I'm Wallaby 903.
Unique to
Pretty cool.
debutants? Do you have to carry a fucking red bag? Do you have to is there hazing?
No, you got to wear your cap for until the Monday of meeting of that. After that test match, so you wear your test cap, and then your youngest on tour, he has to look after Wally. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that in AFL. So Wally is like the little wallaby that we carry on with us,
like a plush toy sort of thing.
Exactly, like a little plump toy, and pretty much if he gets stolen, you got hell to pay. So boys spend their whole trip trying to steal him, and you spend your whole trip trying to protect him from being stolen. Because there's harsh punishments, and there's pictures coming up of him being like hung by the neck, like in rooms saying, "You need to find Wally, mate."
So you were in charge of Wally for a fair bit. Did you ever?
No, I was never. Was I? No, I was never Wally. Yeah, I never had to look after Wally. Yeah.
Does he come out, like go out drinking and stuff as well?
No, he doesn't. I mean, he can if he wants to. If he's a double D, you just can't lose him. But he comes with you everywhere. So he comes with you to meetings. On the game, he sits at the side of the field. Yeah.
What punishment if the boys lose him? Can you remember punishments?
I can't really recall. I mean, like there's hell to pay, and it's public name and shame in the meeting. You get banished pretty hard, but it's just like punishment.
From external, like Union looks like culturally there'd be a lot of that sort of stuff going on, like fines.
Yeah, big time. We had actually had a social meeting today.
Did you?
Yeah. Spin the wheel. We have roulette.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
So effectively, we got a social committee, and throughout every 2 weeks or so, that they rack up the fines, and it's effectively a bit of fun. It's like something like missing a smarter base, which is like your physio check-in in the morning, or if you're late to a session, or you miss a media day or something, you have to spin the wheel, and then on the wheel, the fines
Can you give us some on the wheel? I might ask because I was fines master at West
You're
Coast,
fines
and
master as
I had Tom Barras and I had a wheel.
Yeah, you had a wheel.
We had
So you had
a
exactly.
I'm just wondering what was on the wheel. What's on the wheel?
It varies. So, for instance, like at the moment, we've got we had kitchen bitch. So we had one of the boys get kitchen bitch today. So they effectively have to clean the kitchen every day.
That's great. That wasn't on
one
ours.
guy. We had neggies. Neggies. I don't know if you guys have heard neggies. So the boys have to get their head shaven off. Yeah. About like halfway through down.
And like no sideburns.
Yeah, exactly. So like
brutal.
if you got a big hair, flop of hair or whatever, you've got these like crazy neggies.
So if you're watching a game and you see someone with a mop and shaved sides,
he's been a bad boy, and he's got fined.
More players.
I'm just trying to think what else today we had. You have to wear your suit as well. So you have to wear your suit for a week. So one of the boys got that today. So every morning for every meeting, before every units meeting, your back or your forward meeting, and every team meeting, you have to wear your suit throughout the whole meeting and then take it off.
That's so
For
good.
a week. And if you don't do it for the week, you're doing it again for another week.
That's great.
We had
Love
a couple
that.
of good ones I'm trying to think of while we're chatting. So one of them that only happened one time. Josh Kennedy spun it, and it was in a team meeting. It doesn't seem like much, but like the reaction that what happened and we had to take it off the wheel was what made it. Was you had to call the head coach by a nickname, and
That sounds great.
and we gave the nickname. So
What was the nickname?
I'm just fuck. So Adam Simpson, right? Josh Kennedy had to call him Adzi. So we're just lost on the weekend. It's Monday review.
no.
He spins the wheel before the Monday because like after a loss, as you know,
you want to get the boys up.
spirits up, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Can't be moping around all week, and
exactly.
you get the fines done early, and so you have a good laugh.
Yeah.
Then the meeting comes in, but you got to switch on too.
Yeah,
you can't all be sitting there fucking giggling away. So everyone switch backs on, but Canada's has spun the nickname,
Adzi.
and we've given him Adzi. No one calls Adam. That's not his nickname.
Yeah.
Right?
What is his nickname? Simo?
Simo.
Simo, yeah.
Simo. No one's
Adzi,
called him
mate.
Adzi. No, his wife wouldn't
Maybe
call
if I
him
called
Adzi.
you, go, Wilsey, what's happening?
Correct.
You'd be like,
Yeah,
Shut
exactly.
the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly. What's going on here?
So towards the end of the meeting, everyone's sitting in the room. There's 45 guys knowing it's coming, and it hasn't come yet, and it's getting real serious. Like Simo's starting to show some clips that are like,
He's getting fired up.
you either do this or you're out of the team. That sort of
yeah.
stuff. And it was like one of the last clips, and Josh Kennedy puts his hand up, which no one does either. Like you don't put your fucking hand up.
Yeah, you just
You just talk.
Yeah,
right?
you're not school way
Go,
anymore.
man. It's like talk.
Yeah.
Josh Kennedy, vice captain of the team, like you, puts his hand up, and Simo goes, "Yes, Josh." Like, and Kennedy goes, Adzi, I'm just wondering, just with the centre half forward there, like coming into that stoppage, like whether or not we need to do that. And Simo literally like dead silence, looking at him, staring, like eyeballing him, like fuck, eyeballs pinging, like, oh no, just call me Adzi. Whole place is pissing himself laughing, right? Pissing himself laughing. Simo, not a glimmer of a smirk, like genuinely disappointed, upset with Kenners, and like just continued on with the meeting. And then like everyone left, players are in there, everyone's walking out like, I can't fucking believe he actually did it. Simo's like upset. Kenners is in there having a meeting with him, apologising. Simo had to come in on the Tuesday and said, right, there's to be no more fine on the wheel that affects our team meetings after games. He was upset.
Oh, really?
Real
He took it
upset.
that-
Yeah, real upset. So I don't know if Adzi was like a name that he was called in school.
That sounds like a bit of bullying from school. So like,
Anyway, that was one funny one.
Yeah,
we shaved the head. We had at one stage we had like a minute to win it kind of thing. So you had 1 minute in front of the group,
yeah,
and you had to entertain.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we
Boys did a rap,
Yeah.
or boys did a
your own
poem,
personal show, yeah,
or like a song for a minute, or
Well, Greg Holmes, so he's one of the old boys in the team, so he's obviously seen a few things. He's far too old to be playing as well. I tell him that every time.
How old is he?
He's 38. He's actually, I'll give him, to be honest, he's a freak to be doing what he's doing. He's in the front row. He's the one getting dirty. Yeah,
he's old
and
as
hats
fuck.
off to me. I absolutely love him. Go fishing with him a lot. I always have to tie his knots. You know, he's too blind and stuff like that, so kind of thing. But no, he used to play at Exeter, which is an English team, and he reckons the English banter, especially in that team, is just second to none. You know, they had a similar thing. And yeah, just some of the stories I don't even want to go there, but like we have some boys there who were doing some really
Mentally
good,
scarred.
yeah, exactly, one-on-one like performances which were unbelievable, like dealing with nudity and all that kind of stuff. So
What's it like playing for your country? We're off track. I keep getting off track. What's it like playing for Australia in front of 85,000 people?
Oh man,
is
it
it
was awesome.
Is it a dream?
Yeah, it was a dream of mine as a kid. You know, I always wanted to play. Originally, I wanted to play for South Africa.
Yeah.
I was
Springboks.
fully fled. Well done, sir. Well done.
I'm so proud of yourself. I put it there, Chad.
We'll just wind that up there.
So I wanted to play for the Springboks growing up until about when they won the World Cup in 2007. I was like, all right, I got to change allegiance to Australia here now. So I've supported them up until their winning success, and ever since I wanted to play for the Wallabies, and lucky enough, got the opportunity to play for the Wallabies. Yeah.
Are there sort of unspoken pathways to get to the Wallabies? So obviously it's hard because there's so many guys that obviously want a spot and there's very limited places. So for example, I'm just thinking like with the NBL, right? So there was a guy who signed with the Brisbane Bullets. A lot of people thought he signed with Brisbane because the coach of that team was also the Australian coach. Yeah. And a lot of people said it wasn't the best move for him to go to Brisbane, but it puts him in the eyes of the Australian coach because he wanted to play for Australia. Are there sort of things that you got to do in order to get on the Wallaby squad?
Effectively, long story short, for us is like you just got to play well for your club side, and if you play well and you put in consistent performances, you're going to get selected. But I mean, like anything, there's always the beauty of rugby is it's so subjective, if you know what I mean. So everyone has their own opinion on players, and some coaches may like you, and some coaches may not like you. So it's about hopefully the Wallaby coach at the time rates you and thinks you're a good player, and you're going to be in that squad, and you're going to have a great Wallaby career. You know,
right? You're 29, right?
Yes, correct.
So what's prime time for Union? Is this now? Are you in your primary career?
I'd like to think. I'll
ask some of the boys. They're like, he's done.
He's done, mate. Old school, you know.
So do you have hopes to play for the Wallabies again?
Mate, that's so. I was playing in Europe, and the reason why I came back was to try to give Wallabies one more crack. Obviously, I got selected in the initial squad in 2020, and then got the chop pretty quickly after that. I mean, that's the dream of mine to go back and play for the Wallabies, but unfortunately, I don't think maybe that ship sailed. But I still try and still a goal of mine. But in terms of being a realistic point of view, I think that ship may have sailed for me.
What are those camps like to try and do they list like a big squad? Then you
get selected for the squad, and then generally you're in that squad, and you're training, and then within that you're competing with each other to play in the match day 20.
Are they pretty intense training?
Yeah, they're
sessions?
intense. Like, so playing for your club is a lot more relaxed and you feel it. But you go speaking of all my experiences, and I was under Checker, he's a great coach, but the camps were intense. You know, you always felt like you're on edge and everything like that. But it's a great experience, and rightfully so. You're trying to represent your country and do the best for your country. So I can understand the pressure there.
So you're back with the Force now. You started with the Force, but in the middle, you went to the Brumbies.
Yeah, the Brumbies,
over east in Canberra.
Yeah, I spent 2 years in Canberra.
What's that like? What's the sporting scene like in Canberra?
Oh, man, like, there's two sides to Canberra, right? So there's obviously the Brumbies, which is one of the best Australian sides going around,
So like from a George Gregan type areas back in
George Gregan, Larkham.
Yes.
George Smith, they were
like that team,
the golden era of the Wallabies effectively came out from that club, and it notoriously has been the most successful Australian franchise. So I spent 2 years there. I absolutely loved my time on the field there. It was great fun. I was coached by some great players. I got coached by Stephen Larkham as well. So that's great. But yeah, moving over from the west, where you spend your time in the water, and you spend your time in the boat, you spend your time fishing or diving OVH. Or surf at the OVH as well, man. That's the old local, the old stomping ground. Front bar, obviously, as well.
Yeah, don't fuck around the back bar.
Yeah, the back bar on a Sunday maybe if you're feeling a bit naughty, but that's about it.
Like it. And remind me, I got a story about the OVH and rugby.
Actually, I think my Soaks, my club team here, my local club team, I think had a bit of a drink off with you boys. We'll get back to that.
Come back.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. I've heard stories about that. Anyway, so where was I?
Canberra.
Yeah, Canberra. And then, so moving across, I mean, in terms of for me personally, I didn't really love my time off the field in Canberra. It's a city full of politicians and limited amount of things to do, but some people love it, But for me personally, I was blessed out west. Yeah, you know what it's like. Yeah, we're pretty much the best lifestyle in the world, I reckon.
You moved to sorry, I just
move that again. Yeah,
I'm just gonna tighten it while you speak.
So you played in Canberra. I always wondered what it was like in Canberra sporting scene because, like, from afar, like I've been to Canberra. It's like It's nothing. It's Canberra. It's not on the coast.
Yeah,
It's in
exactly.
the middle of Australia.
Yeah.
Not middle, obviously, but it's inland.
Yeah.
There's politicians.
Super freezing. I'm
Yeah,
telling
cold.
you, super cold in the middle of winter.
So,
like
it's
-8
not
degrees
what
kind
you
of
want
thing. Yeah.
coming from where you came from
Yeah, exactly.
into Western Australia.
Yeah.
Into so, okay, why the fuck did you move to Ireland after? I mean,
Ireland, yeah. So
you played in Ireland, right?
I played in Ireland, which was
can't,
like, mate,
can't
so-
imagine that's much warmer in Ireland.
No, exactly. Well, the thing is, Canberra was way colder, but in Ireland, right? I was living out Western Ireland, in Galway. You know, Ed Sheeran, Galway girl. Literally, if you go and watch that video clip, that's pretty much where I was living. You know, around that kind of area. So, I moved there. I got a good opportunity to go play overseas, and you know, I got paid pretty well there as well. So that was also a draw card. And at the time, the Wallaby coach spoke to me, and he wasn't seeing what he wanted from me. So I thought it was a good opportunity for me to go away and, you know, work on my craft in a different year. You know, the rugby up north is pretty cool, and it's a really good standard at the moment. So went on and worked my craft and got to play out west of Galway, you know. Yeah, and had some crack. Had myself a gaff as well, which was good. So, love my time up there. I've got some lifelong memories of the boys up in Galway.
Crack is like what is that?
Crack's
It's
like you're having a laugh with the lads. You know?
Yes.
Their humour is like I said, the English humour is I've heard is pretty good, but their humour is second to none as well.
Is it like I know?
It's like our Aussie banter, but
Well, yeah,
like,
we had
they're just wittier.
We had an Irish kid play with us, Paddy Brophy.
Yeah.
Have a more Irish name.
Yeah, Paddy.
Paddy Brophy. And it's like great bloke, but he always speak about the culture back home, like pub on every corner.
Oh,
you know,
100%.
everyone knows everyone.
Yeah.
It sounds stupid, but like every town is a small place, and like you get to know people so much better. And like the whole culture is built around like drinking and having fun and spending time with your mates. Is that true?
Oh, 100%. And Guinness. There's certain rules to drink a Guinness. So if you ever need a lesson on that, let me know, boys.
Yeah, right here. Let's go. Tell what are the rules?
I've heard something about the harp.
Yeah, you got to cut the harp. So that's your first one. Effectively, this is what I heard from a local in one of the pubs. So you got to cut the harp, and the boys would talk about it as well. You cut the harp. So on your first sip, you got to cut it. And
What's the harp?
It's
I'm
like
so
on
fucking lost.
the harp of the Guinness
logo.
The Guinness logo. Yeah. So you got to get pretty close to that. And generally, if you
So you have to drink enough so that the line of the drink is...
Oh, so your first sip needs to go
always-
down. You kinda
yeah. And there's also like when
I
you
love that.
pour a Guinness, you don't fully pour it, so you top it up 3/4, and then it's got to sit for a minute or two, and then you top up the rest, and then again you got to let it sit for a bit before you do your thing. And I mean, this could be wrong, and I'll probably get shunted on by all the Irish supporters, all the Irish listeners, but I could be saying this wrong.
Massive.
But I think you got to like
a big following on.
yeah, just big following.
Yes.
You got to split it, like so. You got to have circles as it goes down. You got to drink it in like three to six sips, and you got to have the perfect way to drink is each rim has got a little bit of froth of white, like for every sip that you've had.
Right, so that you can see where you've had the sip,
yeah.
and so there's no lying. You don't get to
Yeah,
have
exactly,
Like,
yeah.
I did that properly.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
well, we can tell.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay, that's good. That's
I've got to
interesting.
ask about playing internationally. So obviously it's different with footy. You can play in Australia or that's it. But with rugby union being an international game, can you be like, I'd love to go spend some time in Japan. I'm just going to tell my manager, can you put my name out in that sort of league? Like, because obviously you can move around the world if you wanted to. Like, how does that work? Because they can't watch every game of
Yeah,
yours.
exactly. That's the beauty of rugby union, I guess, is that it is such a global game. But yeah, like unless you're an absolute big dog, and you got every single team wanting for you, it can be quite hard to get across, because you've got so much competition. If you know what I mean. Like obviously your regular Wallabies and your regular All Blacks, that the world's their oyster. They could pretty much go to wherever they wanted in the world. They're going to get big teams offering them big money. But some boys do have the opportunity there. Like we have lots of guys going to play in France, England, Ireland, Scotland as well, and then also there's a league in America now as well, which is like I've got a few mates there playing there, and they're absolutely loving it. They're called the LA Guillotines, and they live like D-grade celebrities. I'm telling you, they're loving life.
The LA Guillotines.
I love that name.
Guillotines.
That is good.
So it's an American league.
It's an American league, yeah. It's called MLR. So that's another league that's up and coming, and then obviously you got Japan as well. And
there'd be like a lot of hype around that.
Oh yeah. I'm
Like
pretty sure for one of their first, they had like, I can't remember who it was singing their national anthem. Some A-grade
dog.
celebrity,
Yeah.
singing national anthem for some F-grade celebrities in LA. But they're loving their life there. So those boys.
All right. Well, I think it's time to get onto this story. So I kind of thought that there was some connection with the team that you played with this OBH story, right?
Yeah. So I think I've heard, but I'll let you go for it.
Well, so I might have to pull up some footage, right? But my last Mad Monday, retired. We came back from Gold Coast. We'd been like in a hub for like 14 weeks of the 22 weeks, been away from our family. And anytime we came back to Perth, we weren't allowed to leave our house. Like we were in a bubble. This is over in 2020, like proper COVID. And so we'd had this like whole big like long session where like we hadn't been out for 12 months. And anyway, we got home on a Friday night. We had a 24-hour lockdown basically. Sorry. We got home and we were locked down for 14 days. We had a 2-week lockdown.
Yeah. That was the height of the restrictions.
And so we came out at like 9 a.m. on a Sunday. And like, where do you go on a Sunday? OBH.
Yeah.
So we go OBH. I've never been there before. Not OBH. No.
Are you a lookout kind of guy?
No.
Up north?
Absolutely not. I've never been to where we ended up. I've been to OBH plenty of times. Upstairs on the balcony, up the top deck.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it existed. Anyway, we end up there. We've been locked up. Effectively seeing the scene here, we've been locked up for 12 months. Yeah. Haven't been out. So it was rowdy. We're the only people there. We're there at 10 a.m. We're out at 9 a.m. We're there at 10 a.m. Like, no one be late. If you're late, Guinness has been in the sun for the last hour and it's got an egg in it and you just scull it when you walk in. So that's my only experience with Guinnesses. It's a punishment drink.
Yeah.
Anyway, so 10 a.m. kick off, like, well charging, right? It comes to like 3-4 o'clock. Everyone is absolutely having the best time of their life. And there's quite a lot of people around. And there's clearly another team up there, but they're not footy players. And so we're kind of like watching these guys, like, it's not awkward, but like whenever you see like other clearly athletes, it's like, oh, who you guys play for? And, you know, you might have a piss with someone like who, so people started figuring out like it was a rugby team, it was a local rugby team. Yeah. They just won the flag, I'm pretty sure.
I think they did, yeah.
They had their medals on and jumpers and stuff on. Anyway, call goes out. We're having a boat race.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah,
right.
This is it.
So we're having a boat race. So I will put my hand up and say, look, I was a role player for a lot of my career. I was fines master. I ran footy trips. Been a top 3 sculler at the club for 14 years.
Yeah, wow. Best on the weekend.
No, not best on, like sculling a drink. Like, you give me a pint of beer, there wouldn't be many people going around in Perth that could beat me.
Well, that's
so anytime there's a boat race, you know what a boat race is?
Yeah.
So like first, there's 5 people in a row, Charlie. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, and you can't start to the first. Right? All 5 done. Well. Bang, right?
Yes,
So
there's a few drinks coming up.
No, absolutely not. So boat race goes out. It's going to be rugby v AFL. Like, settle the long lost fucking question here. Who can drink more piss?
Yeah, who drinks more?
And like rugby union clearly is the answer. Like, these guys are a bunch of piss heads. We know that, right?
Especially my club. This is my local club.
We've heard from Kyle Godwin here. Like, he's been on the Australian tour, and he's the double D drag master of the rubbish bin, right? So like
bin juice. The drag master of the rubbish bin.
Drag master flex. Bin juice master flex. So rugby's going to win, right? Well, little did they know that I was in. Jake Waterman, very good sculler.
Yep.
Jack Darling, very good sculler.
Not surprised.
There was 2 more legends involved in our team. Anyway, these boys are carrying on. They've won the flag. They're winning their medallions. They're carrying on like they'd won it before it even started. They didn't expect what happened there. And after a bit of a slow start, we just went whack, 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 won by about 1.5 legs. Like, put these boys to shame.
Put them to shame.
While they're all in their rugby, just absolute scenes. I've got the clips. We might actually play them. Right. Absolute scenes. Our whole team is like going at them hard, like doing these ones. But what I loved about that whole day, usually when something like that happens, it gets a bit narky and then people start fighting.
Yeah.
Never got to that stage. It was like genuine happiness. Like, we gave it to them and then everyone was hugging it out. Wanted round 2, of course. You wanted round.
Did we win at round 2?
You boys wanted round 2. No, you didn't fucking win. You got fucking embarrassed again.
Again?
We won twice in a row.
Did you go in again?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going to say, if we didn't, we've got to have a decider at some point, surely.
So, it's decided, mate. It's decided. Your boys lost
second. So
you heard about that?
I heard about it. I had a few boys that were there that day that I'm good mates with, and they said, "Yeah, I don't." They left that bit out about them getting beaten. So
I'd like to hear their.
They heard they had a great day with the Eagles boys, but they left the boat. They said they had boat races, but they didn't.
Well, we're going to clip this.
Who won?
We're going to clip this up, and you're going to send it to all the boys.
Yeah, definitely.
And then if they want to get, I'm sure they'll get angry about
it. Come to you.
I do have. There you go. I got video evidence of this shit as well.
Perfect.
It's one of the biggest celebrations you'll ever hear. But one thing that I remember from that day, you boys had this, and I reckon it was some of the Islander lads. They had this call. It was like, "Hoo."
Oh yeah.
Hoo. And there'd be this one huge.
He was the chief.
Chief.
Sure. Yeah, he was the chief.
And he would get up.
Was that Uffa maybe? Maybe his name was Uffa.
He was the chief, and everyone in the OBH by the end of it would do these chants. They started doing it by themselves. Yeah. By the end of the day at 6 p.m, 7 p.m, the whole OBH is doing these fucking calls, and this chief guy is on.
He's got to choose. Yeah.
Is that something?
That's an Islander thing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
What did you say about these boys' songs? What did you say about?
Yeah. So apparently, after a win, obviously, West Coast have one of the best songs going around in the league. You guys get around in a circle and hug and sing a song.
That, did you, Charlie? do you like the West Coast?
That was a terrible call, Dan.
Do you like the Dockers theme song?
It's better than the Eagles one.
It's a really bad. They're
not
both West
bad.
Australians letting a lot of Australia down.
There's only one I really like.
What?
It's GWS Giants.
Yeah.
But the Western Force doesn't have a old timey song that for some reason I've been on the record many times saying we need to cull the team song. I'm not for it. I think it's pointless. I think it's stupid. You love it. Anyways, but the Force...
I don't love it at all.
But the Force, you guys just pick any random song and
Yeah,
you sing.
so-
How does that work?
No, so Marcel Bracchi brought it in a couple of years ago. So effectively, we've got a team song that we sing first, and that probably doesn't get as much airtime.
Right.
But afterwards, we choose a song, and the song masters choose a song. Sorry, let me correct you there. Let me correct myself there. And we're all meant to sing the song as best as we can. And to be honest, if they gave us a bit of pre-warning, we might actually be finding ourselves on The Voice or something, but they don't. So we're absolutely dead rubbish. But it's good fun.
So the songmaster is this after a win goes, okay, we're going to sing it.
We're going to sing Love
This
Shack.
is the song we're singing.
This is
Britney Spears, Hit Me Baby One More Time.
something like that.
Toxic.
Anything, Toxic, whatever. I put in a few Britney requests.
Big Britney fan?
Yeah, massive. Falling on cold
Toxic's her
shoulders.
best song, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a big Britney fan.
And effectively, they just pick a song and we're meant to sing along, and hopefully you know it and you can sing way louder than someone who doesn't, and you have to read the sheet.
I think I saw a Taylor song the other day, right? Was there a Taylor Swift love story?
Love story.
Yeah. So there's, 15 of the buffest guys in WA just belting out.
Belting Love Story.
That's
That's
great.
an absolute classic for the boys in the Western Force.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've kind of bounced around everything. Played for the Wallabies, played ACT, Ireland, come back here to the Western Force. What's Twiggy Forrest's involvement with the Western Force? So he tries to put together the league, and it gets sort of struck down with COVID and the rest of it. Does he own the Western Force still?
Yeah. So Twiggy owns the Western Force. We're moving back into the CBA, as it's called, so in line with all the other teams on the East Coast, but effectively Twiggy owns it. And thankful all the boys or the young kids in Western Australia who want to play professional rugby one day, and the likes of us who have a job at the Western Force, we wouldn't be here today without Twiggy Forrest. So.
I mean, I know he's got a lot of money. Twiggy's one of the richest guys in WA and Australia and whatever else, but to do that, you're right. He's supporting an industry effectively, an entire industry in a state.
Exactly,
And it's not like it's a huge money making industry. He's not like, I swear I could earn some serious coin off this.
Exactly.
I mean, he's in mining, so
but off the league.
That's what I mean. It's he's not doing footy for footy's not going to compete with his mining income.
I'm sure our expense is like a tiny little. Their stationary budget's probably way bigger than our budget every year. So like I said, without him and the Forrest family, we wouldn't be here playing and doing the dream job that we want.
You can answer this or not, but I've spoken to a couple of other guys that have played on the team over the years, so I can just say that it's it's my story, not yours. But does Twiggy come down at halftime and just let the boys know, about maybe what to do tactically at times, or just maybe
not since I've been there, but I've heard that the boys every now and then, if they're not playing well, he'll come down and give them a rev up, and rightfully so. Because a good passionate rev up from Tui to get the boys going.
That. So owner of the
person
team
that writes your checks
comes down and goes, "Boys, like this is what I need to see."
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you going to do it or you're not going to do it?
Yeah,
you can't say no to that.
Actually, no. In the start of this year, when we were playing the Brumbies in Canberra, he actually came into the change rooms and gave us a bit of a chat, which was good. And we went on to almost winning that game. We lost in the last minute, unfortunately, but we should have won that game. But yeah, no, it was good fun. The boys enjoy it. Get the boys going to get a rev up when the owner's around. He writes our contracts. So
of course, yeah. The owners around other leagues get involved in the teams.
Look, it's not so much in Australia because most of it's owned by Australian Rugby Union or whatever.
Yeah,
but
right.
You get a lot of that in like Europe, in France especially, because you got all the big owners in France that they buy these clubs and they just got an extension of their ego effectively, and they got to make sure that they want to win, and so I've heard some pretty hectic stories coming out of there of coaches come in and not being happy and bang fired on the spot kind of thing. So but you know what, it's passionate and something that they love, so good on them.
What's the season been like so far for you guys? Your vice captain.
Yeah, it's been a tough one at the moment. Still looking for those songs at the end of the game. We haven't been able to sing for a couple of weeks.
You need to ramp the fines up.
I know, 100%. Yeah,
I hear that, and I'm like, just get the
get the atmosphere going. Yes, it's been a bit of a disappointing start for us. I think we're 2 from 6 or 2 from 7. So, but I mean, like we're coming up against the Kiwi side, which should be a good challenge for us, and hopefully we can just turn the season around a bit.
You travelling much?
We did a lot of our travel at the start because obviously we thought that the borders were shut, so we did a lot of all our away games in a bit of a mini hub at the start of the season. And then we got another trip to Melbourne this week. We got it's like the glory round with all the teams are playing, and then a couple of weeks in New Zealand, which is always fun as well.
How does travel work with such big bodies?
Yeah.
We're always trying to get the exit row. So we don't get business class, but we try and get exit row. So, I mean, like, there used to be a rule in the thing where if you travel to South Africa or New Zealand over 6 hours or up to Japan, that you'd get business class. So
everyone on the team?
Everyone would get on the team. But flights below 6 hours, you wouldn't get business class.
So you've been to the penthouse, and now you're getting business class at one time in your career then, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. We were, and the boys were racking up the Qantas frequent flyer points.
Yeah.
So on those double detours to Europe as well, we're spending first class in Dubai Lounge and Qantas Lounge, which was always good fun as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Do you own a bird?
A bird?
Yes.
My mum owns a bird.
I read something about you this week.
Oh no! What have you heard, sir?
You own a bird. You adopted a bird. You had a bird fly into your premises.
That is true.
Is this still living with you? This
100%, 100%. And look, to be honest, no, not with me personally. He lives with my mum at my mum's place. So at my mum's the old family home before we sold it. This bird just flew in one day and it seemed way too tame and way too like cuddly with us. I was like, this is a pet. This is someone's pet.
Escaped pet.
Yeah, anyway, we put some feelers out on all the Facebook groups and all the bird groups, and got no bites to no avail.
all the bird groups.
100%. My girlfriend's on it, and she's a crazy bird lady as well. So,
what sort of bird is it?
A wirra. I think. Yeah.
Have you named it?
Kobe.
Yeah,
Kobe
nice.
Tweety bird. So, my girlfriend had a name for it. My brother had a name for it. They had a big fight over it. So, it's now Kobe Tweety bird, the combination of both. So we've got this bird, and unfortunately, when we were all staying with my mum, we were living in its house. Like, it runs the house. Like, literally, it does what it wants in the house. And if we don't listen to it, we're in trouble, kind of thing.
You've had some sort of arrangement with Vix in the past, is that right?
Vix?
Yeah, I've heard that you like their product and you use it quite a bit.
What, the Vix?
Sponsored by Vicks Vapor Rub early in your days. What? Why is that funny?
No, I'm just trying to find out where that would have come from.
No, if that's not true.
I definitely don't have a sponsorship with Vix.
Okay.
Do you
I
need
think
one?
I-
Do you need one?
To be honest, I
Yeah,
think
had a few colds and flus in your
the
time.
only thing I can think of is that one of the boys are trying to stitch me up and say I've got a big nose and I just need a bit of Vicks up my nose. You know, that's the only thing I can think of. Or that my old man was like, mate, you got a cold, put some Vicks on, rub Vicks on your chest or something like that. Yeah.
Can I ask a couple of bigger rugby union questions? So, like rugby union, so my kind of knowledge was based around like growing up. I watched like Gregan and Arkham and
The glory days.
Johnny,
Roth?
Yeah, Joe Roth.
Johnny,
Joe Roth.
what's that guy's name from England?
Johnny Wilkinson.
No, not fucking Johnny Wilkins. He played for fucking England.
Yeah, but
Fuck
he still
that
used to
guy.
play England.
Fucking sunk the World Cup, mate.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm
Jeez.
talking about Australian rugby and and people loving it. Like maybe it was just because I was younger, but I really feel like the Wallabies were this kind of like up there with the Australian cricket team.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But it's not now. Is that
No, it's definitely,
is that performance or is that what is that?
to be honest, like this is like the biggest debate in rugby at the moment. It's
Yeah.
like how we've fallen away from that point, and like from that point in 2003, where it was probably one of the top 3
Yeah.
sporting codes in Australia at the time, to like where we're really struggling. And obviously that's got a lot to do with performance and then kind of mismanagement at the top level as well. So, but yeah, that's a heated debate within the rugby circles as to why we've fallen off the.
And the sort of chopping and changing with the leagues doesn't help with that. Like
It doesn't. And then obviously, we Super Rugby got extended and it became too hard and too complicated to follow, so that kind of lost a bit of viewership as well. So, and then obviously Wallabies weren't performing as well as they should have been. So it's just a combination of everything, unfortunately. And yeah, we find ourselves where sometimes the Australian rugby union struggle financially as well a bit with that. So. Yeah, no, hopefully we got some good guys at the top level in place, and, I think we're all want to head in the right direction, and rugby is heading back in the right direction. But I think the model works really well for AFL, and they've done a great job at promoting the game and hitting those grassroots. I think that's where Rugby Australia really probably struggled, and they're learning now that they probably should have put a lot more investment into the grassroots and built the game. Yeah, exactly. And ventured out from this so-called private schoolboys game, if you know what I mean. And, and we might be in a different position.
Like,
now.
what's the television rights right now? Like, Foxtel holds them in Australia?
we're on Stan Sport now.
That's right.
Yeah. But I mean like our TV deal is like nothing compared to league and AFL. Like it's chalk and cheese. And
it's all the numbers game.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. 100%. It makes perfect sense. So that's why the boys get paid a lot more than us.
It's interesting. It's starting to swap to streaming services. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the AFL goes that way within the next 5 years. Like, their CBA comes up at the end of next year. Like, Gill's retired CEO, his kind of mandate is to get the new one done. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it starts going towards that more streaming kind of platform. It kind of is, like with KO. That's sort of what they're doing with KO is kind of all of that. The other one I want to ask you was, like, the other exposure I've had the most for union is All Blacks and their culture. And, like, it was certainly something at AFL level. When West Coast were playing their best footy, we spoke a lot about their culture, and I've read books about it, and we've had it preached to us about different things. Like 2018, one thing that I can remember off the top of my head is like we had this clean the sheds kind of thing, which was stolen kind of from the All Blacks about they'd always sweep the sheds. Like they go to an away room, they make a mess. Well, don't leave until you clean your shit up, and it kind of flows through into your life. All it's meant to be anyway. 2018, there was footage after we won the flag, celebrating like lunatics, had this big thing. We kind of had our last team meeting, and it was like, okay, just go and clean your shit up before we go out on the stage and get awarded our medals kind of thing. Like, it was definitely like one thing that, like, I guess we stole from union. So like the All Black kind of culture, is that something internally for someone who plays rugby union that's not from New Zealand that you respect or know about, or look at it from afar and like, geez, I fucking wish we had that? Like, what's the...
Yeah, well, I'm a firm believer that you got to get your culture right to be a successful side. Obviously, you got to need the talent and the coaching, but then also you got to have the right culture. And for the All Blacks in 2007, they had a bit of a disaster World Cup. They were touted to be the next winners of that World Cup, and they didn't go too well in that. And they had this big revamp and restructuring and reculture input and boost. And ever since then, they've been the top dogs of the sport for the last 15, 16 years. So, wow. And it's based on, obviously they've got the quality. They've got great players. They've got super talent, but they've got a massive culture there. And it shows in the way they play and how much they respect playing for the jersey. You know, that's their greatest honour for them. And you can see it. You can see it. It means so much to them to play for the All Blacks, you know. And if the All Blacks lose on the weekend, the whole country's in mourning, and it's a bit of a depression. And the government's like, how can we stimulate the economy now, kind of thing. Like
just Ginger Ardern's on.
Yeah, exactly. Do we need to drop the interest rates, guys? Like, we need to pick me up. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, like I've actually read the book, and I forgot they've got this thing. It's a moldy word, and I think you might know it. Maybe I'm not too sure. I can't remember what it is, but it's effectively about being the people, or being, you know, exactly like what you said, like sweep the sheds, you know.
Like good people, like
exactly good
leads
people.
to good performance, kind
Exactly,
of thing, right?
yeah, exactly, yeah,
yeah. It's just an interesting one. Like I wonder. Like I look at Union, like maybe it's different, maybe it's not. Like what actually splits good sides? Like does a good side have tougher, bigger, cleaner players, like, or have quicker guys on the outside? Like, what's the difference between a good and a bad side?
Yeah,
because everyone can play the game, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's down to a lot of like that kind of minor detail. You know, I'm sure it's the same with you guys in AFL as well. Like, it comes down to that point where you get to those higher and higher levels. It becomes that attention to detail, and then obviously your culture as well. You know, what kind of culture you're breeding in there? You're breeding a successful culture with high standards, versus a team that probably is a bit sloppy around the standards, and you see those habits kind of creep in, and the next minute you're not playing as well as you should be. And you know, it's probably got a lot to do with your culture, and then again, like I say, talent's a big thing as well.
Because like one mistake in Union is a direct turnover. Like, you know, like you lie on the ball, you don't roll off, or exactly. I don't know the rules that well, but I know I used to watch it a fair bit. Like, one mistake, turnover, you don't have time to fuck around. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
So you got to. That's where
and
the
you know that's coming up in Monday review as well. There's nothing worse than you make a mistake. You're like, I'm definitely going to be schooled by the coaches on Monday, and this is going to be in the footage.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling.
No. Have you had a couple of those?
Oh, mate, my whole career was fucking built on
14
that.
years.
Mate.
Yeah, exactly.
You're bound to have at least
Don't worry, I've had a few. I've got way too many as well. You should put your hand up. Yep, sorry, sir. That's me. I'll cop it.
Genuinely, the guys that actually cop it the most are usually the guys that can cop it.
Yeah.
Would you say that? Like,
I would say so. Yeah, we got one guy who cops it a lot, but he puts his hand up and he's great.
Yeah, you got to accept it. Like,
exactly, but that's the thing. That's the whole point. I mean, you know, you don't make this mistake on purpose.
No,
you know,
and they're not singling out guys that are going to crumble a bit with a bit of attention on it. It's always kind of the guys. Have you got any more questions for Kyle? Because I've got some social media stuff.
Let's go to social media.
All right, here we go. Social media.
Social media.
You know all about this or what?
No, I don't, but I'm finding out now.
Don't fucking lie. Social media.
Big.
Yes, correct. Social media powered by Cameo. You on Cameo?
Cameo.
I saw you on Pickstar.
Yeah, I'm on Pickstar.
But
I've
Cameo.
actually never done any work with Pickstar.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. Cameo.
I mean, the rugby union pool is a bit lighter, compared to you boys, I'm sure.
Well, you'd be surprised. Dan gets quite a bit of hits over on Cameo.
Mostly foot fetish stuff, but that's right.
There we go.
Right, so we're on Cameo. This is brought to you by Cameo. Basically, it's a celebrity messaging service. So people want to hear a story about you and your days over in France at Moulin Rouge, or they jump on Cameo and they say,
there we go.
and then you go, let me
you set your price, you make a video, free money, man.
All right, but social media, which you said you don't know about, but I'll tell you what, I bet you do.
I will now.
It's one of the all-time, I guess, probably globally recognised podcasting segments. Basically, the people ask you the questions. That's what it is. All right, social media. So this is from that Karina chick.
How many times have you accidentally sworn in interviews?
Wow. Okay, well, that's big.
This doesn't count.
Yeah, this one doesn't count. I've dropped a few swear words today, but I had the privilege and honour of saying the F-bomb twice in the last 2 years on post-game or pre-game interviews.
No, you haven't.
Promise you that.
How have you done that?
After the win against Melbourne last year, I was so excited. I was like, yeah, the fucking boys.
Yeah, the fucking boys.
What was the question that got you to...
So,
how do you feel?
How do you feel about the win? I was like, ended up, the effing boys. And then funny you say that, the other time I just swore was like 2 weeks ago against the Rebels as well. And I was getting interviewed pre-game and it was like...
Pre-game?
They do this.
Relax, man. Haven't even played yet.
Well, they do this thing where they kind of interview while you're warming up, you know, and I'm
Right.
like in the moment with the boys again, and I'm like, they asked me how they thought I thought the Rebel side. I was like, yeah, they're a effing good team. They're a fucking good team, you know. So yeah, I've dropped it twice.
Do you get
and
any?
now 4 or 5 times.
Oh no,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is fine. This is different.
Do you get a call? Do you look at your phone? Twiggy is calling.
Oh, man, I just get sent so many things from all my mates. You know, a lot of those Soaks boys that were doing boat races, Willie over here, they'll be sending me messages telling me.
Can't wait to get this boat race out to the Soaks
Yeah,
lads.
that'd be good.
Who would be the main culprit over there that would have been letting the team down in the skull off?
In the skull off. Jesus.
This is your chance to throw someone under the bus down there.
Mate, if Rossi Palferman was in the boat race, we have
Classic
no chance.
Rossi Palferman. Yeah.
Shoulda, coulda,
Rossi.
woulda, I suppose. Couldn't quite get it done. Now, this is from Soph Miller 1.
What's your thoughts?
This is important. This could be the most important question you answer today. Just so you
So I
know.
have to serious face now?
Oh, no. Well, you take it where you want. It's a very important question.
Your thoughts on the filet o fish?
Philo o fish.
Filet o fish at McDonald's. I'm glad you don't even know what it is. you know what it is. Like a
yeah,
fillet o fish. Fillet o fish.
I'm a full meat man, to be honest. I got the Big Mac there.
So you wouldn't
Yeah.
be...
I actually love a cheeseburger from Macca's.
You wouldn't be rolling in ordering a fillet of fish?
No, not me. Haven't done it yet, so you can't knock what you haven't tried.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
so
good.
Joe, just so you know what you're missing out on, mate, it's a dry, disgusting, may not even be seafood type burger from
it's one of
McDonald's.
those ones. You're questioning what kind of meat's in there? Kind of
It's Dan's only order at McDonald's. And
no ways.
just an absolute...
Mate, you're a
Mate,
spear
you're better
fisherman.
than that.
You can appreciate fish. I'm
You're a
sure
spear
you like it.
fisherman.
Attempt
he was a rugby player.
Attempt to spear fisherman.
You got to be able to hold your breath a while to do that.
I tried to.
Where are you spearfishing? That scares the shit out of me, man.
Yeah, out of Rotto, up north.
Rotto, where there's sharks everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's good. I absolutely love it. That's probably, besides playing rugby, being fully immersed in the moment, I love going for a bit of a spearfish. It's one of my favourite hobbies, to be honest.
Why?
I just enjoy it, you know, the challenge of trying to hunt for a fish and holding your breath. And, you know, it's one of those sports where you can always push yourself to go a little bit further, a little bit deeper. And, yeah, and when you shoot a big fish and show the picture up and annoy people on Instagram, that's always pretty fun as well.
I think I've had a fillet of fish that he's probably caught a fish from.
Oh, I tell you what.
I wouldn't be surprised if it tastes good. It must have tasted good, you know?
It was probably back in 2013 and they've just pulled it out at McDonald's. They've pulled it out of the deep freeze and chucked it in a fillet of fish. All right, that's good. B_Riles94.
What was your reaction when the Western Force was axed from Super Rugby, and how did it feel when they came back in?
Because you weren't there, right? Like
Yeah,
you,
exactly,
you were
yeah.
at it far. Like,
Yeah, no, so, yeah, for me, I was obviously disappointed. You know, the Western Force was the club side that I looked up to and wanted to play for when I was a young kid growing up. And at the time when they did get axed, I had a lot of real close friends, so I felt for them. And, you know, I felt for the Force. You know, I always had a dream of coming back to play for the Force one day. You know, I went away to try and grow my game, grow as a player, grow as a person as well. And there was always a dream, and that kind of became non-reality at that point. But it was a sad time because I generally thought that the Western Force shouldn't have been the team that was axed, and we can go down that road, but we've spoken about it a million times. And it was sad, and I was sad for the boys that were going through that period, you know, like trying to play Super Rugby and play games each week, but realising that their livelihood might be in jeopardy. You know, it would have been a tough time for them.
Jay Jones.
Underscore.
No, not Jay Jones.
Who was the best you've ever played with?
Played with? I think Quade Cooper is up there. Curtly Beale. Those players are just their rugby knowledge and their ability to put you in space, and just their ability to read the game is like second to none. You know, their skills, like you can see why they played for their country so many times. Just absolutely love playing alongside those boys. They're quality players.
What about Fletch 1290?
Transition between Zimbabwe and Perth. What was that like? So you did speak about that a little bit as a kid.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that really stood out to you? A change in culture?
You got family back there still?
I got a lot of family in South Africa, and a bit of family in Zimbabwe. But yeah, mainly when that kind of situation happened in Zim, everyone kind of dispersed from Zim throughout the world. I think quite a few people are actually going back now, and they're finding that they're having a really nice lifestyle down there. But like I said, it was a bit of a shock to the system coming from yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, good morning ma'am, to having a bit of fun in classrooms and getting away with murder. So
to piss off, miss.
yeah, a little bit of that.
Fuck you, miss.
Fuck you. I said fuck.
Jonah Takaloa style. You know?
Do you Do you still call traffic lights robots?
I definitely do.
Yeah.
I definitely do. Yeah, call it a robot. Yeah.
This last one, we've sort of mentioned it's about Ireland, but I think the second part of the question is a yes or a no, or like a bit of explanation.
So
Sarah _FR.
Your experience of playing in Ireland, and are you a Guinness convert? Still ordering it?
I haven't ordered it in Australia.
So that's a no.
But I heard if you go to a pub that serves it regularly, it's top quality. So that's what I've heard from all my Irish folks. So if you go into a pub and you're the only person drinking it there, then don't order it because it's going to be rubbish out of sight of Ireland. But definitely while I was in Ireland, I loved my Guinness. It was the first drink or two for me, and then I moved on to something different. But yeah, I absolutely love my Guinness. And yeah, I love playing in Ireland. Like I had an absolute crack there. The boys were amazing. You know, the fans were great, and had a great time there. They do something. So on my street where I lived, right there, like you said, there was 5 pubs on my street where I lived, right? And within the town, there's like, I'd say close to 100 pubs within like just the town centre of like a 2-3k radius, right? So every year the club does this thing called the Chicken Run, which is like, I don't know, you guys would have played. It's a social event where one guy gets selected and he becomes a chicken and he has to go and hide in a pub somewhere, and then you get split into groups. And from there, you have to, when you walk into a bar, if the chicken's not there, you have to drink a drink at your own expense and move on to the next pub until you find where the chicken is. And the chicken's obviously got the kitty, and he's drinking free piss until people join him. So he's going on. So yeah. So we did the chicken run, and I was a chicken one year, which was great fun. So
Do they do? Oh, you were the chicken.
I was the chicken.
Do you get to send clues?
Yeah. At certain times, like clues, like you get knocked off. These pubs are all knocked off, or this is knocked off. And
I've seen like different versions of it, but like basically, like guys might start in pairs at all different locations, and then if the chicken's hidden well enough, like they're just like big groups of guys like all linking up because they'll like get to the same pub and they're like, all right, let's go to this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and so you just get these revolving. Yeah. But if there's 100 pubs in the fucking town,
they cross a lot off before we start the day events. But no, it was great fun.
I think we've figured out our BackChat Christmas party is a BackChat.
What, in Ireland?
No,
BackChat Island.
In Perth.
BackChat Island.
BackChat Island.
Yeah. You could probably do it in Freo, to be honest, I reckon.
Yeah.
Get away with it.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
You got anything more for the big fella? I think on the back of that, we've got to get you to an AFL game this year, mate.
100%.
So I think we're going to tee that up.
We'll tee that up.
Maybe I reckon maybe make it
another Freo game, I reckon.
No, well, Freo or West Coast, if you got to pick like you can both.
Mate, I'm 100% West Coast, so yeah.
Bad luck, Charlie.
Yeah. Sorry, Charlie.
Yes,
Sorry about that, mate.
I reckon
edit this real badly now.
Yeah. I mean, Charlie's the only Freo guy in the room, effectively. So
sorry, mate.
He's going to handle that torch.
And likewise to you boys, I've got to get you guys down to a 4.
Oh, no, because I was going to say, you haven't asked me. I've never been to a Union game.
Yeah, 100%. We've got to get you guys down.
Roll your ankle.
We're playing all the Kiwi sides, so you're going to see some top quality come through. We'll get a home game.
Less quality than Western Force, though. Western
100%. Yeah, exactly.
Don't bring my media training into...
We're building that culture, right?
Yeah,
so, Western Force up here, self-belief and confidence.
Where do you play? Your home ground?
We play at HBF Park, the old Perth Oval or whatever.
Highgate,
like Leader. No, not even Leaderville.
Like the back end of Mount Lawley, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
we're in.
Right, we'll get there.
Perfect. We'll get you on.
Great deal. Sounds good.
I know you know all of this, mate. But finishing up, if you want to find us, backchatpodcast.com.au. You knew that one, right?
I definitely
Social
did,
media, backchat _ on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can get us on YouTube. If you want to see the man, the myth, the legend, Kyle Godwin in person, you got to subscribe to YouTube. So if you just got to this point in the interview and you didn't watch it, suggest you jump over to YouTube and subscribe there.
The God.
We're still doing Reddit. I don't hear much from Reddit from you.
Sneaky and subtle.
You banned.
Yeah, I'm back.
You fucking banned.
Reddit?
A couple of times.
Yeah, perfect.
Send us an email, hello@backchatpodcast.com.au. That's it. Bye-bye.